Hello, I'm Beth Hadfield, the Activities Coordinator at the Center for Active Living in Plymouth, the original Center for Active Living. And this is Cal Conversations. Today, I am going to talk about World Elder Abuse Day. World Elder Abuse Day is every June 15th. We recognize this in Plymouth really for the whole month of June and not just one day. We bring awareness to this issue every year with our walk that we do down on Court Street, Main Street at the end of June. We'll talk about that at the end. This year, along with the original Center for Active Living in Plymouth, Old Colony Elder Services, the Plymouth District Attorney's Office, and the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department, we bring you this event. Today on my show, joining me is Lindsey Snyder, Money Management Program Coordinator for Old Colony Elder Services. Welcome, Lindsey.
Thank you for having me.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little, just a little for this moment about what you do?
Absolutely. So my name is Lindsey Snyder. I'm the Money Management Program Coordinator for OCES. And the Money Management Program is a program that supports elders and people with disabilities to remain in charge of their finances through support in their bill paying activity.
Got it. Now, it's a wonderful program. Through our Center for Active Living, we've had both recipients of the program, but we've also had seniors that volunteer with OCES and have helped those people in the community. So it's really nice to hear about this because I've gotten to see both sides of the program work. Today, we're talking about elder abuse. And elder abuse, as we know it, comes in 5 forms. Those forms are physical neglect, cognitive neglect, financial exploitation, emotional neglect, and I think I'm missing one. I think I'm missing one. Okay, we'll keep going. I am missing one, but I don't know what I'm missing. Do you think together we could break each one down and talk about things that go on in each of those?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about physical neglect first.
So physical neglect can look a lot of different ways. It could be not taking care of ADLs, which is adult living tasks. And, it could look like self-neglect, which is a little different, but it is a form of elder abuse. It could be that someone isn't able to access taking a shower because their needs aren't met for being supported in the shower, or it could be they're not getting enough food, there's not enough healthy meals being made for them, or they don't have access to it. So there's a lot of different things that it could be.
So you talked a little bit about self-neglect. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a little bit different than the physical neglect. because I feel like the physical neglect might be coming from another person.
It can be.
And where self-neglect can be more self-initiated.
Mm-hmm.
How do you differentiate that?
So it's hard. And my advice would be, don't worry about differentiating it. If you're worried that something's going on, report it and make the call.
Right. Isn't that funny that you just said it right now? But I was just thinking, okay, see something, say something. And we say that a lot in our business dealing with older folks. And we say that because even if someone goes out to look into a report, if nothing comes of it, no harm, no foul. But if something does come, it's not overlooked. And we want to make sure that each of these seniors are represented if they can't represent themselves.
Absolutely.
Financial exploitation. Can you talk a little about that?
So financial exploitation is, I can talk a lot about that actually. So it's the improper or illegal use of an elder's financial resources through, but not limited to, deceit, coercion, or undue influence on the elder. So this can look a lot of different ways. And I think we're used to it looking certain ways, like someone taking power of attorney and they don't necessarily have the permission of the elder, or they could be taking over the house without permission. But it really can look as simple as, you know, someone taking the debit card and going and buying themselves groceries instead of the elder. Or it can be as advanced as we're seeing a lot of fraud and scams on a much larger level than we ever had before, including crypto scams and all kinds of IRS scams that are much more legitimate looking than they've been in the past. So it really is a wide variety of different kinds of fraud and exploitation. It could just be straightforward theft, taking someone's money, taking someone's property, their car, jewelry, anything like that, or attempting to intentionally mislead the person. So saying, I'm going to pay all your bills, give me access to your bank account, and then not paying the bills.
Nope, they're taking it for themselves.
Yeah.
It would seem, though, that might be harder to figure out.
So it does take a while to figure out. And so fraud and exploitation abuses is a challenging one because there's layers to it. Right. There's a wide variety of agencies that if you are suspecting that there might be financial abuse or fraud, you can report to the AARP fraud hotline. You can make a general report through the reporting line. You can call the Federal Trade Commission. You can call your local police, the Attorney General's office. There's all kinds of different layers of support. And there's all kinds of different ways that if you believe you're a victim of fraud and exploitation, to get help as well. The money management program does help with that. And we also monitor bank accounts to make sure it doesn't continue to happen, which is a nice benefit to the program. But there's so many different ways to receive support for yourself and your loved ones.
Right. I have noticed, I was in the bank recently, and there was an older person at the teller's window, and he was taking out a large sum of money. I don't know how much it was, and it wasn't any of our business, but I clearly heard the teller go through those questions of, are you sure this is being used for this? You know, do you think someone may have tried to scam you? And I was really glad, as a professional who works with older people every single day, to hear that person behind the counter literally asking those questions of that senior. And, you know, of course, he did adamantly deny it. And I really hope it was the way he was explaining it to the teller, because if that person isn't going to be honest with someone, we're not going to know.
Right.
If we do a lot of education, both you working with Old Colony Elder Services and both myself through the Center for Active Living. We do this all the time. For us, we have speakers that come out and talk on different topics, just like you through work have people who do the exact same thing. And, as much as we say it, we don't know if the people listening are those people being affected.
Right. And I think that's why it's getting much more common. Like, you'll go to the grocery store and you'll see, are you buying gift cards for someone else? That could be a scam. Or if you see in your utility bills, you'll get packets of information about utility scams that are going on right now. And there's just so much awareness being brought to it because it's so pervasive right now. But I hope that it is reaching the people it needs to reach. And I feel like it is. I think there's been a shift. It's just there's so much of it out there.
Gosh, it is. And how many times a day do we get like a spam call on our phone? Exactly. And if you're answering every call, we'd all be going crazy.
Exactly.
I mean, it's too much. And it doesn't matter if you put your phone number on the do not call list. Those type of scams find ways around every number coming into your phone system.
They do. And they also, if calling's not working, they'll text you. If texting's not working, they'll email you. If emailing's not working, I've seen people's smart TVs get hacked and saying that, if you don't pay this amount of money, your services are going to be shut off. And I hope my advice is always call the number that you have and have always had for the utility company.
Correct.
Don't call any number that's given to you.
Right. We hear the same thing at the center too. Everybody's talking about it because it's happening everywhere.
It's all the time.
I'm not sure where I want to go from here. I know you wanted a chance to talk about the money management program a little more in depth, so I'm going to give you that opportunity.
Absolutely. So the Massachusetts Money Management Program offers free services to assist low-income older adults who may be at risk of losing their independence due to their inability to pay basic rent, food, and utility bills on time. Often these older adults are homebound, disabled, visually impaired, or confused, or without family nearby to help them. Trained supervised volunteers assist consumers by preparing their checks, organizing their mail, helping maintain a budget and filing system, and supporting them in managing their money. So we are a program run by volunteers and me. And we are always looking for new volunteers.
I was going to ask that. Okay.
And we're always looking for new consumers. We are growing and we would love to continue to grow. It's a program that helps you remain in charge of your finances in a world where that's getting harder and harder every day.
Yes.
And we also provide bank account monitoring for fraud and scams, which helps support people who have been victims of fraud and scams.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the secondary half of our program. So we help with the bill paying and bill management and making sure that everyone's in charge of their money, but we also support to prevent fraud and scams.
Okay. So, but you said at the very beginning that this program is for low-income people. So there is a limit to, if you find yourself a widow or a widower, and paying the bills was not something that you did in your married life, could people still turn to you for the help?
So they can. There's exceptions to the rule.
Okay.
It just looks a little different.
Okay.
So majority of consumers are lower income. We don't bill insurance. You don't have to be on mass health. But if you are worried about being over income, my advice is to reach out anyways. You can ask me questions, you can ask our information and referral team questions, and they'll help you figure out if we can't help you, they'll give you advice for people who can.
Okay. Awesome. Before we started our show, we talked a little about how elder abuse happens. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that it is a hard job for a caregiver. Mm-hmm. Does Old Colony offer any kind of caregiver support?
So we have a caregiver support program, as well as we offer a variety of services that can support caregivers. So if a caregiver might be, I'm speaking from a money management perspective, a caregiver might have been responsible for the finances and the bills and the organization for a year and a half now, and it's just become too overwhelming. That could be a situation where money management could step in and support a caregiver.
Right.
If a caregiver is having a hard time with, maintaining the home for the older adult, or isn't able to get out there as often as they would like to support them in showering, they would talk to our home care department and they would help get their needs met. Even just something as, I don't want to say smallest peace of mind, but something as
that might offer,
that indirect as
yes,
peace of mind is,
yes,
we offer the emergency response necklaces, and things like that to help give caregivers a little peace of mind for when they're not there.
Right. In our conversation earlier, when we were talking about caregivers and we were talking about, how abuse happens, it isn't always at the hands of a caregiver, but I don't know, I think more than not, it might be, or it could be. Being a caregiver is a really hard job.
Absolutely.
I'm finding myself in that role right now in my life. And as I said to you earlier, I would absolutely lose my mind if I thought someone was hurting my mother. Mm-hmm. And if it was me, I hope someone would rip me out of the situation. My mother means everything to me. Mm-hmm. So we need caregivers to know that there's help out there for them if the situation they're in is overwhelming.
Absolutely.
I will say that at the Center for Active Living, my goal by September is to have one of those programs in place, to have a general caregiver support for maybe children of older Americans who find themselves, we'll call it the sandwich generation. Mm-hmm. You have kids, maybe they're not small, or maybe they are, and you're taking care of your parents, your husband, and every other thing in between. And we need to find a balance. We need to take a moment to take a breath to get the support that I'm going to say we, because I'm in it, we need to be able to continue to care for that older American who needs us.
Yeah.
This June, I want to put a shameless plug out there. This June, Thursday, June 25th, down in Plymouth, we will be doing the Walk for Elder Abuse, and we are showing off our shirts. So when you register for this walk, everybody gets a shirt. Mm-hmm. If you got one from last year, wear it. I forgot mine. I had to borrow one this morning, but thank goodness I had one to borrow. But we march down the street. We hoot and holler and make sure that people are noticing and reading the signs we're holding up, because it is so important. In Plymouth, over 45% are people over 60. That's an incredible number of people. Like, I can't even fathom that. In a few years, more than 50% of town is going to be older. We're going to be the older Americans. And we have to have people stand up and take notice. And, you know, our signs are see something. Can you remember any of that?
See something, say something. There's no excuse for elder abuse.
That's right. We hold the phone number up. Do you know that phone number? Do we have it?
Number. The elder abuse hotline is, and reports can be filed at 1-800-922-2275 or online at a website that will be shown after this.
Perfect. Very well said. But we need people to talk. You know, if you live in senior housing and you notice your neighbor hasn't come out in a few days or something doesn't seem right, call somebody. You know, call Old Colony. Call the number that Lindsey just read off to us. Call the Center for Active Living. We all step in to make sure that people are safe.
Absolutely.
You also wanted to talk about, is it the fraud helpline or the fraud I'm not sure what it is, so I'm going to let you take that.
AARP actually has a fraud helpline. So if you think that you've been a victim of fraud or scam, even potentially, you can give them a call at 877-908-3360. Or if you have been a victim of fraud or scams and you're looking for peer support, you can go online to aarp.org/fraud support, and they offer online small group fraud for victim support sessions. And then I also was hoping to share a couple of different ways that you can recognize financial abuse.
Absolutely.
So someone taking your money, credit card, or property without permission, forging a signature on a check or property title, lying to you about why someone needs money, misusing a power of attorney to benefit someone other than yourself, or pressuring you to change your will.
Wow. Wow. I don't... I can't even imagine any of that. Like,
and it is unfortunate. It's pretty common.
I know.
Yeah.
And we all see it.
Right.
And, you know, I think our educating our seniors is really helping. Like, I don't know, and I'm not even sure if you know, percentages versus is it a friend who noticed something odd or a family member who noticed something odd for reporting?
So I don't know the exact percentages, but I will say it's often a mix of where the reports, but even where our referrals for money management fraud support come from, it can be from a local supporting agency. It can be from a doctor or a friend or a self-referral, or even through a care manager at OCES. It really, it's not just family members calling things in anymore. There's definitely information getting out at a wider rate. So I think everyone's able to support their community better now.
Right. You know, because I'm a caregiver now and I do go to a lot of appointments with my mom, it's really interesting because they do ask a lot of questions about people feeling safe in the home.
Okay.
And of course, I want to say in my situation, my mom is 100% safe. But I wonder when there are other people who aren't, I really hope the doctors are like picking up anything that might be a sign beyond maybe physical bruising, to know. I'm going to have to make a point to actually ask next time I go, how do you know? Like, you know, they see so many different people from so many different walks of life. You could be the richest person, but still be the person who is being exploited or abused. You know, how do they know all that? These are all the things I ponder.
Well, it's interesting because Meals on Wheels, one of the components to Meals on Wheels is a wellness check when the meals are delivered. And, you know, that is built in there to help support and make sure that everyone's okay.
I am so glad you brought that up because it's not that I forgot. It's not in my forefront, but you're 100% right. And just at our center alone, we must send out 150 plus meals a day. And every one of those people they've had eyes on them. They've had a smiling face come to their door, bring their meal. And if they don't answer the door, those reports go to us and then to you. And we all do our best to get in contact with that older American or get in touch with their next of kin or, you know, their person who would be able to go and check on them to know if everything's okay.
Right.
In so many levels, we're doing as much as we possibly can to keep the people in our communities safe. Could we be doing any more? I don't know.
I think so. I actually do have one statistic that's kind of interesting. So approximately 1 in 6 older adults are victims of elder abuse, which is a pretty scary number. But I would say that the scarier number is 1 in 24 cases goes unreported.
Wow. So that's a whole lot more people. So many people are experiencing it, and it's never being raised to a level that someone can go in and check on them.
Right. So see something, say something is really important.
Beyond important. Like we said, if you say something and it's unfounded, it's okay. Somebody went in to check and we all did our jobs to figure out how things are and if that person really is okay.
It's better to err on the side of caution and get people the support they need.
I agree 100%. So as quickly as our show began, it now comes to an end. Lindsey, I cannot thank you enough for joining me today, for sharing statistics and tons of information. And I hope to see you again soon. But I know I will see you at the walk.